So yeah, after all of that, I was just like, fuck it. I don't want to be stuck with these people again. And I was just like, you know what? I'll never believe them, trust them, or anything like that ever again. So I just did what I always did. And mind you, like, it's not always me that, you like, stop goes low contact. It's that if I have to be the only one reaching out, then what's the point? So yeah, it's not always me who chooses to go like low or no contact. Is that when I don't do what they want me to do, they just stop responding. Now, this in person is fucking infuriating. From a distance, it's whatever. And that's what always would happen. A lot of the times as a kid, as I was growing up, she would stop fucking responding. I would ask her a question. I'd be like, hey, can I go out with my friends? I did all the cleaning work and all of that stuff. And it was like she had a hard time saying yes because I I can't fully recall a time where she actually said yes. It was always like go ahead or okay or like not just a straight up yes. And the thing is like I barely remember any no's too because a lot of the times it was just like or her completely ignoring me and that's why that fucking shit triggers me to this day. I need help. I need help. But yeah. It was driving me absolutely fucking nuts. And I'm fucking so sick of carrying all of this shit and being made to feel like all of the stuff that I have gone through, every part of this story that I am telling has been like told to me like I didn't go through anything because she always had it worse. She always had it worse. No matter what I went through, I went through the stuff that I did as a kid, and she's like, oh, well, everybody has a story. Everybody in our family has a story. Every person on this planet has a story. So, that ain't anything. And besides, sometimes when it happens to you, it's somebody that's like closer or whatever the case was. And it was just like, okay. And this is why, even if anybody is watching this video and is thinking that I have a worse story than them, your pain is still valid. Your pain is still valid. Whether it's like a paper cut compared to a freaking gash in the arm, it's still valid. It's still pain. It still fucking matters. You don't only tell stories because there's some grandiose, freaking catastrophic bullshit. You tell it because it's something that bothers you and it hurts. And that's the only way that you can try to work it out. Because my thing is when I'm having an issue, if I talk back and forth with somebody, I can work it out myself, even if all they're doing is listening. Because I just need to hear it out loud towards another person and then maybe ask them questions about this situation to make sure that I'm not blowing it out of proportion, which is something that I've always done because like I will tell people stories and then ask them questions like, am I crazy? Because I've always been made to feel absolutely insane by my fucking family. I think they actually tried to drive me to being put in a fucking facility. But my mind was just far too strong, hence the strong-willed comments. And so, yeah, it drove me absolutely nuts. So then, because like nobody ever protected us from her rages and all of that shit. And whenever we complained about her, they would always be like, oh, well, that's your mom. And I was really fucking frustrated. I think I even mentioned something about like them always being in my mom's pockets because my mom was always sending them money. And that's where it starts, like all that money trading back and forth between siblings so that, oh, well, I'm down right now while you're up. Even if you have like your own kids or whatever, you're supposed to give. You're just supposed to give when somebody asks and never say no. And so I think I actually mentioned something about like the only reason why you won't go against her is because you always have this feeling that you're going to need her because you always asking her for money. Because when like she actually got stable, now mind you, she did get a lot of help too, and we ended up living with a lot of our family members. But from my perspective as a kid, she was always dishing out money. Like all the time. And they lived with us too. Like, it wasn't just us jumping into their houses. No, they came to live with us too. And at some points. But you know, 4 kids is a lot, even back then when gas was actually $20 or whatever. So yeah. And so then, you know, stuff like that doesn't get talked about. We're just supposed to pretend like it never happened. And so if you don't trust somebody or you give the air of not trusting somebody, then there's a problem with you. So basically, I just did what we usually do, pretended like it didn't happen, and continued to visit her for holidays and stuff like that. And yeah, in spite of all of that, because, you know, she's still my mom. I eventually tried to get her to teach me to drive, which was a fucking nightmare. I had to beg her, and she almost... So yeah, basically I had to beg her, and because it was cloudy, she almost didn't. And that was the only time I had ever driven with her. Mind you, I'm like, I think 25 at the time. Maybe 26. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. So yeah. Anything that I needed from her, I had to beg her for. Getting my needs met through her was hell. I have, to this day, an insecurity of not having my needs met, of running out of like toilet tissue or toiletries of any sort. It stresses the fuck out of me, because there was a time where we had run out of, like, are we even allowed to talk about stuff like this? I don't care. I had run out of pads, and it was the only thing that I had ever worn. And I was supposed to like wear this tampon, and I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that. And I didn't get instructions because she never kept the instructions because she didn't need them. And they were the like cardboard ones. And I needed to use it, and she's like, here you go. And I was like, okay, but how do you do it? And she's just like, put it in. Mind you, I'm a virgin at this time, but I am over 18. And then she says, oh, I'll teach you about it when you're older. Older than being a fucking adult, and that doesn't know how to use these. And it's the cardboard ones. If you're gonna do it for the first time, make sure they're the plastic ones. Because that was a nightmare. Because I tried, and it was extremely painful. I was in fucking tears. And there was nothing else in the house. And I don't know if it was too late for her to go and try to get something, but gas stations are always open, or like the drugstores are always open. Yeah, I was in tears. I ended up having to take it out and just use toilet paper. If we even had toilet paper. I might have even, if we didn't have toilet paper, I used a toilet paper roll. Yeah, and I had actually forgotten about that. Till like now. So yeah, this was my life. Trying to like beg her to help me with stuff. Cause like the thing is like, if I can teach myself, I will, and I always have, because she stopped doing my hair when I was in like senior year of high school. So I actually ended up like having to learn to flat iron my own hair from just like the memory or watching her do it for my sister, because she just wouldn't do it anymore. And you know, that's gonna sound bad, but that's also when I stopped getting the relaxers too, because after a certain point she wouldn't do it anymore. And because I'm so immature, when I get frustrated, that she will tell me no, because I don't know how to do it myself, and she won't teach me. So the first time I actually tried to flat iron, I tried to get right here. That's how I got this burn. That's from a fucking flat iron, me trying to flat iron my hair the first time, so that I could actually go to school looking halfway fucking decent. Yeah. That was fucking frustrating. Moving on.